Yeah.
Okay.
What's this button do?
I don't know.
I keep pressing it over and over again. Now it's blue, now it's gray. Now it's blue, now it's gray. Now it's blue, now it's gray.
That's gonna make some fascinating on and off clips for the final recording.
My understanding is if I was doing this for real, it would just be, now it's blue, now it's blue, now it's blue, now it's blue.
Oh.
Hello, everybody. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's the Old Rob Show.
Starring me, I'm Rob, and we got lots of cool guests.
It's Plus Ultra. And tonight, I'm here with Beth, Crash, EO, and Jen. And I'll let you tell me what happened last time.
Nobody knows.
We went traveling after a lot of plotting to deal with the jumping off cliffs and not dying aspect of things. I think we need to buy a lot of rope as well, honestly, once we get, here. Because we traveled until we got to Buttonton. Ropes! We're getting ropes! Just to be
I
sure.
did not actually make anyone fall up very hard into the ceiling.
This is also true, which is why Old Rob
But I was
is...
a bit concerned.
Old Rob is as overconfident as a Jawa that Devin has us all well under control.
I wish I was as certain as you were. Actually, no, I don't. That would probably be...
There's a lot of things for which I am very doubtful and skeptical and a lot of other negative words.
Mm-hmm.
But you are young, intelligent, and understand the value of a good story, even if you insist that they all be real ones. I have a feeling that you won't steer us wrong. Also, apparently I have the ability to tell you a story about how you figured out how to make us fly, and that'll make it easier for you to make us fly. I have no idea how that works, but it's in the game rules. That is not canon.
That's pretty
Old
recursive.
Rob does not say that.
That's pretty recursive.
Old Rob tells a story about breaking the fourth wall.
It's a reminder sometimes.
Remember that time that you learned how to make us fly and we didn't get smushed into a pancake on the ceiling? Those were the days. Yesterday. It was yesterday. Those were the days.
Here's the secret, folks. If I can get them talking for 2 hours, I can use my prep next time.
She's not wrong.
Yep.
This is why the GM doesn't stop the party from bantering in any game.
Anyway, we made it to a town, and we got a place to sleep. And since the map here has us all around the table, I kind of figure that that's where we're going to be starting.
Well,
that's where we ended last time.
That's where you ended last time.
Yep.
Oh, close enough.
Yes, you made it to Buttonton and have spent the night at the Snap and Toggle. It's now bright and early. Well, kind of early. A little early.
Is it bright, though?
It is bright.
Oh, that's something.
It is a nice, clear winter's day. And there's a caravan headed west for Roskilde that you've been offered seats in the back of the carts.
Oh, yes, please.
And
Oh, that would be great.
that's walking for you.
Amen.
All right. I mean, they aren't going to charge you a whole lot because they were already going that way.
Okay.
And it's not like they have to pull the carts any harder. The mules might, but the mules and the oxen, I should say.
I tell the
Kirsten
mules
will
and the
offer-
oxen. Sorry.
Kirsten is going to offer her medical abilities as needed.
Okay.
And Old Rob is obviously going to be telling stories.
But yes, I tell the mules and the oxen a story about pulling carts easier. This has no effect whatsoever unless they speak the same language Old Rob speaks, which I assume they do not.
No.
However, the people who are in charge of the wagon, if they chose to start pulling the wagon instead, would probably have an easier time of it than if they had done so before the Old Rob story. I imagine this will not happen.
Some mules are pretty smart. You never know. They might pull it a little better.
There was a story once about a mule who could understand your common language, but mules just don't have the vocal apparatus to respond.
I don't know. They always laughed at my jokes.
Well, It's a good thing you never met any horses. They would have told you nay.
no.
Oh.
I award Ellie another
Anyway.
Cypher System XP.
Ellie's GMing.
Mhm.
Yes, but also that's another spot on the bingo card.
Ah.
Oh wait, also I said that wasn't in character. That's another spot on the bingo card. I'm 2 away.
Anyway,
Yep, there we are.
after about a day, you make it to Roskilde.
As soon as the map loads,
there's
it's at 98%. It's fine. I'm
There's,
sorry.
I've completely lost what I was going to say. The caravan.
I'm so sorry.
Nothing in particular happens on the way. Like this is a pretty standard route now, and Roskilde is bustling as usual. It's much the same way you left it. What was that? 2 weeks ago?
Feels
Probably
like
about-
Oh,
months.
dang it!
Forever and a day.
There's all of the people who got changed in the wild magics.
Oh, that's
And
right.
There's a forge.
Yeah, there was
How did I get tilted again?
Because
know.
you were holding the shift key when you went to go diagonally.
I could
Or
do
the
that.
command key.
Hold the shift key and press the down arrow, and you'll be
Control
right
key.
side up.
And we're on a new map, so you actually have to roll initiative again if you want to.
Okay.
Well, now my character name is also correct, even though I didn't do
Yeah.
anything differently.
And old Rob is still there, and we're still our.
You've both
And old
been
Rob
isekai.
changed.
Yeah.
Old Rob had Old Rob Robertson Jr., and now he's Old Rob.
I think it's based off of the icon for me, because my icon on the map, my token.
Oh,
just says
token
old Rob.
name.
So what's your
My
token name?
token's been set to say Devin's name for ages, and I didn't change anything.
It's
But
a
it's
per map
per
token.
map.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have been set to some.
Yeah, for some reason your token name is EO on the other map.
That's
Hmm.
weird. It's not set to that.
Oh, Fighting with Foundry. Where's that on the bingo card? Oh.
Wow. I don't have the energy for the bingo card today because I was at the dentist.
That's
yesterday.
fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
The- Crash is the one doing it.
That's fine.
If I'm the only one playing bingo, it's okay. I'm playing against the bingo card specifically. I will defeat it. Technically, I did defeat it once, but that part of the recording was lost
Oh.
as I stare at OBS to make sure the little green bar is moving back and forth.
Yes.
You better be. Don't quit on me now. Anyway, it's a green bar, not a green circle, so that doesn't count.
Yes.
What time of day do we get to Roskilde?
It is about sunset.
Okay.
The caravan
Old-
moves at about walking speed. So
Old Rob
it's an
is
8-hour
sorry,
it's an 8-hour walk whether you take the caravan or walk yourself.
but our feet feel better if we take the caravan.
Yes.
It could be worse. It could be a single fancy wagon pulled by a single ox.
With an old drive it. Sorry. T Kingfisher reference.
Yeah. There needs to be a spot on the bingo card for T Kingfisher reference.
Huh.
Anyway. If I remember correctly, there are gatherings that happen at sunset because it's basically like a giant campsite. So, although it's fancy now, it's got a forge. They have a house. They might have another house.
Probably not in 2 weeks, although they may have been starting on one.
Well,
Possible.
yeah. It's
Yes.
they have site of future house coming soon, and there's half of a foundation. You got to find the right rocks. It's important.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Have a conversation with them, convince them that that's what they want to be.
Of course.
Yes. The funny thing is that's not technically a joke in this campaign setting, and I like that. But Old Rob is definitely going to circulate through the various spots and say hi to, well, old friends is a weird way of putting it, but friends that have been made here with his storytelling and antics, and see how things are going, swap tales, and what's that thing? Would it be gather intelligence? I believe it would be.
Sure.
When in a group of people, a caravan, a palace, a village, etc., you can ask around about any topic you choose and come away with useful information. You can ask a specific question, or you can simply obtain general facts. I'd like to know what happened since last time we were here, because it's been a little while.
You find out about all the adventuring parties who have gone into the wilds and come back.
Well, that's good.
And there have been several adventuring parties that went into the wilds and didn't come back, although they might just be taking their time.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
There are about half a dozen more people in with the Wild Touch folks.
That's good.
Who have established a camp off to the west of the main town. Is still putting it a little strongly, although, to be clear, the last time you were coming through here, the second house was almost complete, and now it is complete.
Oh,
So
Good to know.
that's what you get for making assumptions.
it's
Yeah.
it's a 2-house town.
Yes, plus the forge building is complete.
Oh, good.
So Carla has a roof over her head when she's melting down recovered metal and turning it into something useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Yes, this town is big enough for the both of us.
Yep.
There's nothing really new to report about the wilds. In fact, the parties that have gone in and not come back yet are like, that's not unusual because the wilds near here have all pretty much been explored. And so parties sometimes spend 2 or 3 weeks out there. Although the longer they stay out, the more chance there is that they will be different when they come back.
It's a risk you take.
Yep. And to make something clear, the Wild Touched are not in a camp off to the west because they're staying segregated from the rest of the town. It's just because there's no room in the rest of the town and they're expanding.
Okay.
So the town wasn't big enough for the 2 groups
Yes,
So they had
they're
to make the
expanding
until
the
they made
town.
it bigger.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Devin, what are you up to?
I'm
Winter?
going
It's sunset?
to.
It's winter. It's sunset.
I'm going to check in on how the Wild Touch to returned are.
Okay. They seem to be acclimating and rejoining society pretty well.
Oh, good.
They wish they realized. Many of them wish they realized that the well in the middle of town was actually a communication device. But yeah, like if it had been earlier in the day, you would have seen them more like in Roskilde proper. But they're they're doing okay for themselves. One of them's gone up to help Carla in the forge. One of them actually is sitting by the fire, helping cook whatever they're cooking. It's I'll let you decide that.
Chicken.
Stew.
Chicken
Yeah.
stew,
Mm-hmm.
the usual. Yeah, they seem perfectly content.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Adelina, how about you?
I think I'm gonna go talk to the woman that's running the forge.
Okay.
I'll just go over there. see what they
She's
say.
very glad that she managed to get you reunited with her parents,
That's
who
good.
were you may remember some of the Wild Touched.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They were the ones who had merged into one body.
Oh, right. Yeah. I remember that.
Which heads off the jokes I was going to make about how it's great to have parents that stick together.
Yeah. So I'll just go over here.
No, it heads on. In fact, excessively so.
Mm.
But yeah, she's doing well. She's got the forge set up just as she likes it, and she's not a fantastic blacksmith yet. She certainly doesn't have your skill level, but she's getting there.
Oh, good. It's nice to see you
Definitely
working
like
on that.
apprentice level blacksmithing.
Mm-hmm. Is the forge outside? It might be.
It was originally outside. It is now there's been a building constructed around it.
Okay, cool. All right. So Adelina's gonna hang out with the other person who's running the forge for a while and maybe show her some stuff.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Mhm.
She's got she's winding down for the night, but she's still got plenty of energy and metal to work with. So,
That's always good. Mm-hmm.
Karacinda, how about you?
Puttering around the place and doing the, well, let's see, what scrapes have you picked up this time? Oh my gosh, that, are you sure that isn't, why do you have a toxic mushroom? No, don't eat that. Don't eat that. I don't care if you think that wild magic has made you immune to toxic mushrooms. That's not what you want to try to find out. I am going to have to treat you right now. Have you been eating those? No, your liver. You have a liver. Don't make me open
Not
you up
anymore.
and show you your own liver. Yeah, that's the problem. All right, it is time for me to try to patch you up with herbs and things that I have in my pack here.
Okay.
Going around and trying, patching people up and fixing them if they've eaten poison mushrooms that they thought were perfectly good because now they were blue. No, just
Oh,
because
no.
it's blue doesn't mean it's healthy, etc. This will possibly include meandering over if anyone says that anyone in the Wild Touch zone camp district neighborhood subdivision is also in need of an expert healing type person who can do medical scan
They eat the mushroom.
and healing
They
touch.
grow to twice their size. Throw a turtle shell at you. You fall over. They run away as music plays. Cut to, you are actually treating them as they are unconscious and frothing at the mouth, having a fever dream.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Sounds
Oh,
about
his
right.
legs are kicking. He's dreaming about running.
Yes.
Since I
Um,
have an edge of 3 on alleviate, which takes 3 intellect points, and I have 3 intellect edge, I believe that means that I can work on doing alleviate on a lot of people with my herbs and simples. So
Okay. Yeah, you do a lot of curing of. I got mild food poisoning. I got somewhat somewhat less mild food poisoning.
Oh, no.
I ate a mushroom.
don't eat mushrooms unless you are very, very sure.
Okay, I'll eat this lichen.
I'm going to test the lichen and see if it's actual edible lichen.
I ate these
Okay, I've
leaves.
got living off the land.
They come in
I
groups of
resist natural
3.
poisons. There are perfectly reasonable leaves that come in groups of 3. There's sorrel. They're very small. They look like little bitty shamrocks with yellow flowers. They're tasty. And then there's other leaves that no, you do not eat that. You will die. And you don't burn it either. You will die.
I was going to
Or
say,
you'll just
yeah, all
wish.
that. We cleared all the poison ivy and we're trying to get rid of it, so we just toss it in the fire.
No, you will die.
Oh, no.
You will get poison ivy in your lungs.
I know someone who did that.
Did they die?
No, but he had regrets.
Yeah.
Did he
You-
have regrets at the hospital?
He did not inhale the smoke, but he
Oh.
was in its
Oh, good.
path briefly and
Oh.
suffered for his transgressions in a way that was a learning experience for all, including everyone else during the camping trip who watched him do it and was out of range.
Ugh, thankfully.
I was one of them.
Oof.
Thankfully.
Yeah,
Yes.
thankfully out of range.
He was the only one who got close enough to the
Right.
fire to actually toss it in. The rest was like, "What are you tossing in the fire?" "Oh, I ripped these poison ivy vines off of the tree. I wanted to get rid of them." "Good for you. I'm
And
going to go
everyone
play in the
screamed
creek over
no.
here."
Yeah. Oh God. I'll just sit here going, oh, sweet gods, for a while and let everybody else talk.
Which direction are we going to be going in next? I know we're
West.
heading towards. Okay, so we're heading west.
West.
Were there any
Hopefully not
details
fishing.
I picked up about the adventurers who were heading west and coming back? Or would I need to seek them out and
You'll-
have conversation with them?
What kind of details are you looking for?
Anything we should keep an eye out for, besides giant walking turtles?
Yeah, well, the direction you're going, you actually have fairly well explored. Like you're going to be passing that ruined temple, you're going to be passing the statue, you're going to be passing the well, you're going to be coming to the cliff at the edge of the valley, and the adventurers who have come back mostly were going north and south, or rather northwest and southwest, and the adventurers who haven't come back, like you're given descriptions of them. It's not like they can give you a photograph. But
It was a long shot because we're probably planning on going way further than any of them plan to go.
Yeah.
Unless they fell down the cliff, somehow survived, and thought, I'm going to keep going west from here.
I mean, they may have decided to go some distance in order to try to get back up the cliff if they somehow climbed down and survived.
Old
Like-
Rob would choose to lay down and ponder his life choices up until that point. Fortunately, there'd be an indentation at the bottom of the cliff that is perfectly shaped to his body. It's called the impact crater.
Ooh, great place to lie down.
That was his hole. It was made for him.
I get that reference.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can you get some interesting information about the northwest and southwest. Like when I say northwest and southwest, I mean north and south of the path you're going to be taking.
So not as useful for us as not adventurers.
Right.
Well, it was a long shot.
Yeah. I mean, there are some other people who have encountered the cliff and report that, like you, they didn't see a great way down. But on the other hand, the sightings of that giant dinosaur turtle have diminished over time. So who knows? Maybe it found a way down.
Hopefully not the hard way.
If it was
Yes,
diminishing, it
hopefully not
might
the hard
have
way.
gone into the west. Yeah.
That was my pun that I made in text. That's my pun at the spot.
Well done. I steal
Thank
from the
you.
best.
Good.
And also the worst. But in this case, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, unless anybody else has anything they'd like to do, the rest of the evening passes peacefully.
Huh?
The free tent is still available.
Oh, good.
that's good.
So, although it gets more and more crowded every time you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We're going to have to be building ourselves a little temporary house or something. Devin,
Yeah.
next time we're at the tower, you need to research whether there's some way to pop up a little tent or something that's nice and warm, yeah? At least lots of warm bodies mean that there's lots of, warm people.
Or what are those
I'll
fancy
do my
spells?
best.
You could invent your own. You could call it Devon's Dazzling Dwelling.
That
I don't-
seems a little bit overboard.
I don't think it needs to dazzle.
But think of the alliteration.
No.
Well, dazzling is far better than the other alternative D words, like damp, dark, decrepit.
Dilapidated.
Oh, I like that one.
Dainty.
Rolls off the tongue.
Domestic.
Yes, thank you, Ellie. Dornan Canaan's dreary dump. Dornan Canaan is the younger brother that Morton Canaan refuses to talk about.
Yes.
People see him in a family photo and like, who's that? No one. He just turns the picture frame face down on the table. No one at all.
Truth be told, your best bet is probably to buy a pavilion tent and ask Carla to store it behind the forge.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Do we have the money for it?
I don't know.
If we have the money for it, then yes, I like that idea.
Let's see how
Perhaps you
much
can
she's got.
bring back stuff to trade the next time you come back
Oh,
into
yeah.
town.
That would work.
Good idea.
I mean,
Okay.
you're leaving tomorrow, and I think you're leaving tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
And after sunset on a winter night is probably not when you want to be setting up a pavilion tent,
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Nope, nope, nope,
That's-
nope, 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 nope.
That's true.
especially when there's a nice warm hay pile in the free tent just waiting for you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I can tell you, middle of summer, any time of day, is still not an ideal time for setting up a pavilion tent.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Unless you've got one of those ones that pops open on its own and key to the endeavor, someone else to set it up.
Mhm.
Then it's funny.
So how do I do this? Oh,
Oof.
just hold that part there and pull. So how's Old Rob hands a loose pile of coins over to Karacinda because they didn't hit the height requirement to beat the bet.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'm a mind reader, not a fortune teller.
I know that. That's why I bet against you. Anyway,
Mhm.
we will bed down in the nice warm straw.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
that tent in the ship.
It's a mimic.
That is not properly secured.
Oh no.
There
Happened
there are
there.
guy lines that you don't just rely on the poles. You have to put the guy lines in place.
Otherwise, you get tossed like you're in a washing machine. Apparently.
That or
I think
someone
someone's
is in
in
there
there.
is it. Yeah, and I don't know how much that's sped up.
Well, yeah, that's a good observation.
Did I ever tell you my Chincoteague story?
Don't
I
think so.
Don't
No?
think so.
So
Don't know.
when I was a kid, I was in the Boy Scouts, and one summer we went to Chincoteague to camp out, and one of the kids in the troop came from like a rich family, and really liked that he was more wealthy than everybody else in the troop.
Oh
Ugh.
no.
And so on that trip, because when you go on a scout camping trip, it's like just you and your gear. And so you put your gear in your tent. And when we got to the campsite, he was smug as can be and said, well, I don't have to sleep with my gear, and my friends don't either, because I've got a second tent that I'm going to put all my gear in. It's the gear tent. He said, all right. I mean, good for you, dude. Um, I was thinking, okay, so you're going to have to you're going to have to go out of your tent naked to get changed. And so, we set up the tents, and he puts all his gear in the tent, and he's very smug about it. And we go to sleep, and the next morning we're woken up by screaming like shortly before dawn, because Chincoteague is an island on the coast of Maryland, and there's something islands are known for on the coast of Maryland, which is that they get windy. And he had not tied down his tent with guy lines. He had just staked it into the sand.
Oh no.
Oh no. The sand. Oh no.
Yes.
And it
No.
got windy and
And
his
so
tent went.
we
Oh my-
all watched his tent blow away across the ocean
Oh no.
with all his stuff in
with
it.
all his stuff in it.
That is very windy.
That is a
There,
life.
yeah.
there was
lesson,
a
you know?
fox making a face just watching it go.
Yeah, and the wind died down shortly before dawn. Like it was, well, I say shortly before dawn, I mean before the sun came up fully. And it was a perfectly pleasant day the next day, except that he was grumping the entire time because his gear was in the ocean.
That's a life lesson for that guy.
Yeah.
And if he'd been in the tent, he would have been heavy enough to hold it down, probably.
Yeah, exactly. His
Mhm.
tent didn't blow away because he was in it.
Wow.
If only he'd brought more gear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the next morning you wake up kind of itchy from the hay, but warm.
Not so bad.
It's an effort to get old Rob out of the hay because it's cold out.
No,
But-
old
Keep all
Rob's
the
bladder
hay
isn't
away
what it
from
used
you?
to be. He got up because the alternative was unthinkable.
I don't know what it is. I
think
can't think
any
it.
of us want to think about that.
They are making, I'm going to keep calling it coffee. It's not actually coffee, but it has the effect of coffee and tastes kind of like coffee.
That'll do.
And this is for the players' benefit and the listeners, because the characters don't know what coffee is.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But I'm going to keep calling it coffee.
Th-
They
this,
have coffee. There's sausage brewing,
Oh,
Caffeine root.
you know,
yeah.
you
coffee
wouldn't
cooking,
think
and
you
sausage
like it.
brewing.
You wouldn't think you like it, but this burnt tea actually kind of grows on you after a while.
Just so long as you don't let it grow on your bathrobe there.
From what I've found, it seems to kill things.
That is a risk, actually. It's a vine, so it can take root and grow on you.
Oh no. Oh no.
Good news! I found a source of rope.
And
There is someone selling rope, because adventurers always have use for rope.
That's the
You
truth.
can get about 150 feet worth in 50-foot lengths.
Let's buy some rope if we've got anything for money. I think we've got things for money.
Maybe. Let's see.
Adelina's got a bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it on the character sheet right
Yes,
now.
you're a rich person.
You got a whole tower and everything.
You're the one who had a
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was mine, but okay.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you own a
Nope.
wizard tower. Adelina, raise your hand.
Adelina raises her hand. And
Karacinda,
nods
put
her
your hand
head.
down.
It did not. I don't own the thing. It's just that every wizard tower needs a medical person, right?
Yeah, why not?
Exactly. I am part of the entourage.
There's like a
Hmm.
3-year-old child listening to the conversation whose hand was also up.
Oh.
Oh,
It's a little model they made out of sticks. They're very proud of it.
Aw.
That's a good wizard tower.
it's a very good wizard tower.
It fell over while we were having this discussion.
It's still a
Yeah.
good wizard tower.
Yes.
Okay. Trying to
QED.
figure out. I don't even know how much
you.
money she has.
It's not on the sheet. We're just
Oh, okay.
we have determined that you, because of your job as a blacksmith, you have.
Oh, okay, that makes sense entirely. Yeah. Okay.
As is the want for many a GM, we have
This
hand waved away the whole
wizard
idea of currency.
Tower.
Mhm.
Put
Okay,
this
that's
wizard
fine.
tower back together.
Aww. You're putting the tower back together for the little kid.
Oh. I'm sure the little kid will be
That's-
happy for that.
Easily a success.
You made a friend.
Aw.
Okay, so you've got your rope. You've put a little model of the wizard tower back together.
Mhm.
You have bidden farewell to your friends
Mhm.
in Roskilde.
Yep. And tell the blacksmith that, hey, we're leaving. Nice to see you again. Gotta go.
And you head off.
Okay.
Trundle, trundle.
Trundle, trundle. There is not a caravan this time. It's just you.
No, it's just us. Forge a little bit along the way here and there.
Not bring a caravan into the wild magic and off a cliff, because I don't think I want to try to lift multiple wagons. The creature's pulling the wagons.
Oh, no,
Probably
just
not
one
even
wagon.
one at a time.
You unhitch the animals from the wagon, and then you say Triguna, Tricoides, Tricorum Sanctus Dei, and then you turn a bed knob in a direction, and Angela
Okay.
Landbury appears,
Yes.
A young one.
and Disney immediately sues.
Disney immediately sues to steal the Angela Lansbury, no doubt.
Well, I mean, the original
you-
movie was theirs. Anyway,
Yes, I'm just saying that they'd want to have the actress back.
As if she's been kidnapped or something. Yeah.
As you head west, the wild magic has actually retreated almost to that ruined shrine.
Oh.
That's faster than it was retreating, isn't it?
Not.
So.
It's about the same rate. It's just. I mean, it's been at least a month, possibly two, since you were at the shrine.
Oh, right. Okay.
do you think
You've been
the
in and out
Flickering
of
thing
the-
is using up the wild magic?
At this rate, we're gonna have to figure out how to power it. That's not wild magic.
I mean, I'm okay with using up wild magic personally.
Well, yeah, but we gotta get everybody back somehow.
This is true, but if it
I
means
don't
getting
think
an extra
there's any
blister or
risk
two,
of running out of.
What was that, Devin?
I don't think there's any risk of running out of wild magic anytime soon.
Gonna start being awkward to get to it unless we can figure out how to get back and forth to that. Well, suppose we'll be camping out more.
Well,
Anyway, it's not actually going faster. The player was just wrong about how fast it was going.
yeah, it's proceeding at a pretty steady pace. It's just
felt
been
fast.
it's been a while since you first got to Roskilde. So it felt fast, yeah.
well, I, for one, don't really mind the camping. It's like having a house that you clean just by, kicking out the tent pegs and giving it a good shake.
Well,
Can't
Do
do that with Waddle and
perfect.
Daub.
Also, the shrine is the same distance that it was from Roskilde, but you can get to it faster because the people of Roskilde have been cutting down the trees and wearing paths, and so like you're not clearing your way the way that you were the first time you went in.
That's useful.
Yeah, they have a large their capacity for using wood is pretty high. But
Build
it is
house.
also like a couple hours walk from Roskilde. You're still not in the wild magic yet. And it probably occurs to you that they could stand to build another camp here. Like now that Roskilde is getting actually properly settled, there's room for another adventurers camp so that you're not spending 2 hours just getting to the part that's interesting.
Hmm.
All right.
So something to recommend the next time you talk to him.
We set our save here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Old Rob rolls out of bed and right clicks on it.
There's only
you
one
get-
clicky thing. Sorry.
There's a clicky thing somewhere.
As you get past the ruined shrine, and you're properly in the wild magic now, the river that you need to follow to get out to the cliff comes into view. It's south of the shrine. This isn't the river that took you out of Dunshire.
Dunshire,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I can't remember how I pronounced it the first time.
Close
I would
enough.
assume that most people that live there are going to pronounce it their own way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Spallimer. Um,
You broke Crash.
I'm just thinking of Bethlehem.
Yep.
It's not Bethlehem steel, it's Bethlehem steel.
All right.
So you can follow the river out. The statue's still there. The well is. I don't remember what order these are in. The statue's still there. The well is still there. You can call back and let them know you're okay.
You know.
The remains of that camp are still there. Nobody's there.
Can we pause for a moment? Because
Wherever.
Hmm?
Because.
Because Old Rob has a new ability, having reached tier 3.
Oh, what's that?
Mind reading. As we're going past the statue, Old Rob wants to see if he can detect surface thoughts. Mind reading, for the listeners at home, costs 2 intellect points, which for Old Rob means with his edge of 3, he gets 1 intellect point for using this ability. That's not how it works. It just means it's free. You can read the surface thoughts of a creature within short range, even if the target doesn't want you to. You must be able to see your target. Once you have established contact, you can read the target's thoughts for up to 1 minute. If you also have the mind reading special ability from another source, you can use this ability at long range, and you don't need to be able to see the target, but you do have to know what that the target is within range. Action to initiate. So Old Rob uses an action to see if there's anything going on inside the statue's head. Because there was a plaque saying, hey, in a time of need, this thing will activate. Well, that implies that it has some form of at least limited autonomy. So
Or perception.
Old Rob isn't thinking thoughts at the statue. Old Rob is just trying to listen a little bit better than last time.
Karasinda
enough.
will be kind and not disturb Old Rob while he's meditating at the statue. She'll just forage for stuff.
Oh, actually, within short range. So I'm going to put you back.
The hill was slippery. Old Rob slid on the grass over to the statue. What?
Wee!
This counts as touching grass? I don't know why the youth say I keep needing doing it.
Reasons.
They also say I should be a clock.
Because you're
Some-
right twice a day?
Something about ticks and tocks. I don't know.
I'm having a hard time describing what you encounter is the no mind. It's not that there isn't a mind there. It's just that there aren't any thoughts there.
Ooh.
Head empty, no thoughts.
It's like, yeah. It's like if someone were really, really good at meditation. So,
Huh.
yeah, there is something there that could be thought with, but it isn't thinking anything.
I
Because it's waiting.
suppose if you've been standing still for hundreds of years, it would be maddening if you either didn't have some way to pass the time, or didn't have some way of just turning your brain off for a bit. It's in standby mode.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear it's in standby mode instead of simply maddened.
Mhm.
Oh, this begs the question. Did old Rob tell people what he was planning on doing as we passed the statue, or did he just on impulse, like the player on impulse, think this was a good idea?
Hang on a second. I'm going to go over here and stare at this rock.
Oh yeah, the party would have seen old Rob walking over to it. But you know, I think old Rob wouldn't have told them what he was planning. He is going to, when he walks back, tell them what he's figured out.
Standing there, hands to temples. To me, my X-Men.
Imagine Charles Xavier with a large beard that may or may not have something living in it.
And the most disreputable bathrobe in 3 realities.
For the record, there is nothing living in old Rob's beard. But don't ask Caracinda if that's true. She'll tell you a different story. And she
I've got
has
powers
skills
to
with
tell me.
plants.
Mm-hmm. Got medical
Incidentally.
scan. Yep.
The device has just gone ding. And we've been playing for about an hour. What do you say we take a 5-minute break?
Let's
Fries are
do
done.
that.
Good idea.
Fries are done. Ding.
Mhm.
All right, I'll be back in a bit.
Now it's blue. Now it's blue. Now it's blue. That's what we call a callback.
Meanwhile, the statue is thinking, am I blue? Am
Ba
I
da dee da da
blue?"
da. There are 2 kinds of people.
Mhm.
And I'm the worst one. Anyway,
So yes, the device has gone ding. You are not required to act on it, but you may if you like. Otherwise, you can let it keep accumulating charge. For all you know, it will keep doing that.
old Rob
Me.
will stop mid-sentence. He's already shared all the information that everyone needed to know that old Rob figured out about the statue. But this is old Rob we're talking about. So therefore, having imparted that information, he's continuing to be verbose about it. Possibly going into an anecdote that makes it easier for people to sense the thoughts of statues. And stops mid-syllable when there is an audible ding from Devon's pack.
Wow.
We
Am
may
I-
want to wait until we can head for one of the locations we were told about, since we don't want to head into the city and be in the city when it crashes.
We were yanked. Yes, we were yanked back, but
And I don't think that we'll necessarily see anything useful if we use it here.
Proposal.
Hmm?
Let's use it in the tower.
I
oh,
think that's a very good proposal.
That might work, yeah.
Alas, it means as much as I want to press the little clicky thing, we're going to have to wait.
good idea, though. Good idea.
And maybe
I'll
we'll
mark this
find
day on my
something in
calendar.
the city that links up to teleport to the tower. Since we know that Adelina's ancestor bipped over.
If we have a chance, we might be able to talk to your great umpty great grandparent there, Adelina.
That'd be nice.
Maybe leave a few books around for basic how to be a mage for Devon.
All right, let's go to the tower.
I'm-
No, we were headed to the city.
We should
Oh.
head to the city first.
Yeah,
Okay.
city
We'll
first. We've
just-
already come all this way. We're not turning this caravan around.
Yeah.
They don't even have a caravan to turn around.
That's true. That's true.
Can't turn around. Ain't here.
The person who would be saying one more word and making us turn this group around is the one who's saying that there will not be such a threat. Although Caracinda would be the one who makes the turning.
Maybe. Possibly. Perhaps.
Well, I'm assuming that we are leaving the vicinity of the statue. So, as we are going wherever we're going, Old Rob is going to pontificate on. Well, first of all, he's kind of jealous of. Is it Beeble?
Yes.
He's kind of jealous of Beeble because imagine being in the position where you knew you could leave something for somebody several hundred years in the future to find, possibly very reliably. Now, one could also argue that we could go back in time and do that. This thought has not crossed Old Rob's head. One could also argue it's very cool to be able to receive such messages.
Mhm.
Old Rob is more of a talker.
As evidenced by
That's
the
all
fact
right.
that
Sorry.
I was just going to say, as evidenced by the fact that while Old Rob being in the middle of a sentence, so not unusual that nobody really notices. Old Rob stopping in the middle of a sentence, now that's a red letter day.
Depends on how
Sorry, yes.
irritated Karasenda got.
Yeah. Yeah, what were you going to say?
Ah, that's all right. Devin is fascinated and amazed by the fact that we could receive those messages.
And right now, there's one person we can get those messages from reliably. But we've met more than one person from the past, including somebody who is rather close to Devin, provided we can ever find him again.
Ugh, that's a real kicker, isn't it?
If we go to the right place, I think we will.
Perhaps Beeble would be able to help us with that.
It's quite possible. I would certainly like to get the opinion of a real wizard on this artifact.
Would be
Fair enough.
useful.
But first, the city.
Or what's left of it.
Oh, definitely what's left of it, but, well,
Look on the bright side. Once we see it like this, we'll have a baseline to see what changes later. Because we are going to change things.
There he goes.
that's the truth.
Hi, Rob.
For the listener at home, Old Rob moved across the map towards our next destination, off to the
At
west.
speed.
Time to start trundling.
There.
And he's already diminished because he's taking up only 1/4 of a square.
Uh,
But Adelina's taking up the
Yes,
middle of the
I-
square. Old Rob's taking up a corner.
Mm-hmm.
off we go.
Do you stop at the forest camp or the well in the field? And yes, it is a little weird that there are two of them so close to each other.
Let's scrounge around the well in the field just a tad, because Karasenda would like to suggest that the next adventurers camp might want to be at the well in the field,
Okay.
because then they could talk to the other camp very easily. Well, the small town now. And just see if there's anything in this location that might be of danger. Yeah. Is there a reason not to?
The disadvantage to putting a camp here is that it's in the middle of the wild magic.
Ah, okay, that's valid. Okay, scrounge around the place and possibly phone home. Should we phone home? Should we tell them that we made it this far, we're fine, didn't see any problems?
Seems reasonable.
Up to you.
Rob, go talk to people. That's what you're good at.
Rob goes and talks to people.
Okay. How long are you going to let Rob talk to people before you bonk him over the head and say it's time to move on?
I am going to help talk to people. This possibly it means helping stop talking to people.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
It might involve helping to steer the conversation towards something that would actually be uplifting or informative in a way that isn't just getting Old Rob more stories that he can embellish later.
Yeah.
Which, to his credit, Old Rob would definitely assist with if given that kind of direction. But without that direction, Old Rob is going to Old Rob it.
Mhm.
Devin will help keep him on track.
Good.
I'm a little concerned that Devin rolled for an instant boat.
Oh, I noticed I had a cipher on my character sheet and it had not had its level rolled, so I rolled its level. I am not summoning a
That-
boat.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm on board with this. But
Mhm.
for the briefest of moments, I imagined Devin walking over to this group of people gathered around old Rob, pulling out a small box or something and just giving it a shake,
Well-
and now we have a canoe. Placing it immediately in the well.
That
Deep subject.
might get him to stop talking, but I think it's a bit drastic.
That would
tad,
probably get
just
old Rob to
tad.
tell an anecdotal story about boats.
Like how much we wished we had a proper one.
Plausible. So plausible.
I love these moments. So then the question is, Devin, what information do you want old Rob to try to gather with his gather intelligence ability?
If any.
Sorry, did you say that to me?
Yes.
Because I didn't process it.
So if you are helping to steer old Rob in the right direction for gathering information, what kind of information is Devin interested in getting?
Are we getting information? Or are we telling people where we are and what we saw and moving on?
I mean, this is old Rob we're talking about. He's giving as much as he's getting,
True.
if not more.
I think we were going to report on what we'd seen in the area and that this is a good usable base camp and, where it is and stuff.
Okay.
To the edge of the last place that we saw that looked like a good usable base camp where there wasn't wild magic, and then also what we found up to this point where there still is.
Yeah. But this is a good place for adventurers who are going out into the wild magic to camp
Mm.
because
Oh,
it means they
definitely.
can communicate back.
Oh, old Rob just had a thought. And today's already marked off on the calendar, so we can't mark it off again.
Dun dun dun.
Mind reading only works over a short distance. When we're talking to somebody through the well, they manifest as the water taking their shape.
Does that count?
Can
Interesting.
old Rob read the surface thoughts of either the water person facsimile and or the person that is being represented?
Well, you're welcome to try.
Old Rob is already trying before the player can say this.
You read the thoughts of the water person in front of you. There's a lot of tension.
Oh.
You get another Cypher System XP for this evening.
It would have been a funnier joke if I'd said the surface thoughts.
Oh. No, that's fine. This is fine. This is fine.
They have a very bubbly personality.
Oh.
No, you just get static.
Well, old Rob has learned a thing, and so old Rob is grateful. This implies that someone else with a similar ability would probably be less likely to be able to read our thoughts through a proxy.
It does, doesn't it?
Unless the GM decides it's a different ability altogether, which is also possible.
These things, they can happen.
Yes. The continuity is the continuity until the GM has decided I've changed the continuity. Pray to not change it further.
Okay. Well, you can communicate that. They take your advice with the good humor. They take all your advice.
Good for them.
But Devin doesn't let you talk very long. Devin knows exactly how you can get when you're talking to people. And
Indeed.
What do
and
you?
we
Oh, I know
have,
exactly what you mean.
Yeah. We have places to go before it gets dark.
you do. It's about noon now.
Time to keep trucking on.
Okay. Well, the idea has been communicated.
And we can head onwards.
Yes.
Okay. Everyone head to the west at speed.
Okay.
Are you stopping by the forest camp and the other well? Or are you just heading straight?
We should probably check in on it, but I don't think we should stop there unless A, it's night by the time we get there. I do not remember how far away things are from each other.
Mhm.
Or B, there's something going on.
Okay. You stop by the forest camp. It's pretty much the way you left it, except a little more dilapidated because it's sitting out in the wild magic and nobody's looking after it.
Some of the tents have
that's right.
merged together into a single tent.
Yeah.
That
I
one
mean,
over
that's-
there is purple now.
Actually, there aren't a whole lot of tents left because they took them with them.
They're relaxed.
Yes.
Mhm.
The well is undisturbed, and even though it's pretty chilly, it doesn't show any signs of having frozen over. Actually, neither did the other one, now that you think about it.
Well, they're
Good to
magic.
know.
Is
Magic
there snow
wells.
on the ground?
No, but it feels cold enough that water would freeze.
Well, good thing I've
At
got
least
this
partially.
nice, warm bathrobe.
Yes.
The grime provides an extra layer of insulation.
No, you could gather blankets and cloaks and gloves and stuff before you left the tower.
Probably did.
Yes.
You do want to protect yourself from the weather while you're walking in the weather.
Old Rob is
Yeah.
wearing
You
a
are
full coat
still-
underneath the bathrobe.
Yes. You are still in the environment.
Well, there's no water here. No one can tow us out of it.
Yes. And you, okay, so yeah, it's pretty much as you left it, except the weather's gotten to it. And looks like animals have to. Possibly a walking tree.
Clomp, clomp, clomp.
A walking tree. Don't see that every day. I ever tell you the story about Treebeard the pirate?
No. A little concerned.
Here we are.
Cut to next scene.
By and by,
Mhm.
you reach the cliff with the waterfall. Oh, and we lost you.
Uh-oh.
And that's why Treebeard's bark was considered worse than his bite.
I knew I should not have asked.
Discord
You okay, you?
mysteriously disconnected me. Sorry about that.
I was preparing to pause, but I'm glad you're back.
My computer did a weird little restart.
Oh.
I mean, it didn't restart, but the screen turned off and went back to the lock screen, and
The operating system
Weird.
blinked.
Discord disconnected me. Yes,
Huh.
it blinked. Nothing reloaded, but I just got disconnected and lock screened.
Weird. I hope you're properly plugged in.
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yes.
You have reached the clifftop waterfall with the ruins of the palanquin and the driver's thing.
Which are now
that used to be on top of the dinosaur turtle are now just on the ground.
and probably not quite in the same place, but close enough.
No.
Old Rob approaches the edge of the cliff on his belly.
Don't do that.
You're gonna get grass stains on your bathrobe that way, you know.
Incidentally,
Rob
what
looks
looks
over
on
at
the map like
Karacinda.
Just pointing it out.
incidentally,
Sorry.
yes. What looks on the map like a series of ponds is actually the river continuing under the tree canopy.
Hmm.
Oh.
Uh,
Lot of canopy down there.
Yeah, the woods are thick. And you do see the dinosaur turtle heads poking up out of the tops of the trees.
Karacinda approaches cautiously and prodding the ground to make sure it's not likely to give way. Here. All right. Does it look like there are any ledges or anything that we can sort of stage our way down floaty-wise?
I have a climbing kit.
And we bought rope, but that
And we
looks like
brought
I
Kevin.
also have rope.
Yes. I'm just pointing out we might want to sort of pause on ledges, get everybody together, and go down in stages, eh?
Try.
We got any ledges? Perception roll? What's perception roll?
Well, do you have any skills that
Nope. I just have a lot of intellect points.
I'd let you?
I do have an ability. I can observe or study a creature or object, and my next interaction with that creature or object gains an asset. Can I study the cliff?
Yes, I'll let you take an asset for that.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll a difficulty 3.
Okay, let's see if I
And that'll
intellect.
be an intellect roll if you want to spend effort on it.
Yes, at 1 difficulty 3, or is that already eased?
Difficulty 3 is not eased. That's the base difficulty.
Okay. I'll risk the difficulty 2 then,
Okay?
and I'll just make it.
You do. Just make it. Yeah, if you tie 2 of the ropes together, you can get to a ledge about a little less than 100 feet down.
Old Rob is going to use his anecdote ability to tell a story of brave explorers climbing to the top of a mountain and being the first explorers to ever reach it. But he tells the story in reverse.
That is a stunt writing trick. Let us tie the ropes together and get down to the ledge. And hopefully, how high up is this here cliff?
About a quarter mile.
It was the story of Mount Palindrome, by the way.
Oof.
Well,
If I cheat and look at Devin's ability of gravity shift,
1, 2, 3, 4.
it works within long range. And if we need 150 feet of rope, that's 50 feet too far. However, Devin can affect additional creatures or objects by spending
By
one
spending
additional
more effort.
intellect point. It doesn't say more effort. It says one additional intellect point per target.
Right,
So
yes,
cheaper
sorry.
than effort.
That's not what I meant. But
It's
How much rope we got?
I believe I can make this a very gentle descent. And should I roll this or just pay the points?
Just pay the points.
All right. Cypher is never
you've practiced
100% clear about that one.
Yeah, no, you've practiced enough. You know how to do it.
Hello, why did you only spend... Right, because I spent 6 and I have an edge of 4. And why
Yes.
was I down 1 point? I have not been...
Yeah,
Anyway,
you shouldn't have been.
well, let's see then.
Now you're spending points for every object you're carrying too, right? No, I'm kidding.
Old
Wow,
Rob drops
okay.
everything.
No, put those back on.
That went further than I was prepared to go.
Mm.
I have a terrible prurient mind, and you should know better.
And I teach literal 12-year-olds, but still. Means I should have known better.
You
Yes,
you
yes,
are
should.
probably going to want to all step off at the same time,
Okay.
just so you
I-
can guarantee that you stay within long range.
On 3. 1, 2, 2.5. Ah!
Perhaps we should have roped ourselves together.
Oh, I thought we did.
Yes. All right. If we're going to be doing it that way, then we should be roped together so we will not get out of long range.
There we
Also,
go.
so you can drag old Rob off the cliff.
Yeah.
We go off the edge like synchronized swimmers if the synchronized swimmers had a rope tying them all together so that each one jumping off pulls the next one
Wow.
against their will off the edge of the
Hoping
pool.
it's anchored to something up here before we try that.
That
No,
would
we're
be counterproductive because we wouldn't be able to get down to the bottom then.
Oh.
we're going down.
We'd just be hanging
and getting
by the
up is
rope
gonna be-
going, this is a fine mess you got us into.
Okay, you step off the edge.
All right.
TPK, we start a
Next
new
time
campaign.
on Plus Ultra,
No.
the spell holds.
Oh.
You gently I don't know how gently, like I don't know how Devin set your gravity, but
Pretty gently.
okay, like at 10% gravity, actually I might even say like 5% or 1% gravity, just because it's still acceleration, but you are falling slowly enough that when you land it is on your feet and more or less painless.
If we're close enough to the cliff, low enough gravity could have us just use our hands to slow our descent by like brushing up against the wall.
Yeah, reach out and grab rocks as they pass to slow you down. And yeah, you reach the bottom without any particular discomfort, or I'm not going to say particular distress because only
This
you
whole
get
thing
to
is
decide
kind
how
of
terrified
distressing.
you are.
I am a bit distressed that I am jumping us off a cliff with the first old style spell I have learned. The only thing between us and splatting beside some rope.
And the rope is
But-
not actually connected to anything.
But you know what? I am dealing with it.
Aracinda has full confidence in Devon and is therefore tucked her feet up so she is sitting cross-legged in the air, floating downwards, because if she were not cross-legged, then her skirt would be doing rude things, and that just cannot be tolerated. Holding onto her stick, and she's fine. She's absolutely fine. She has utmost confidence in Devon, and she is not going to let her expression betray anything else except confidence.
All right.
Old Rob
Confidence.
is cartwheeling down the side of the mountain. It was
Stop twisting the rope.
not his original intent, but
Mhm.
he did try to grab the wall of the cliff to slow his descent and maybe kind of accidentally pushed off a little bit with a foot in the process because he was slowing the descent too much. And this created a spin that he couldn't slow because he was now away from the edge of the cliff. It eventually stopped when the rope got pulled, and then the rope unwound and spun him the other way.
Oh no.
Which is great because if you get dizzy from spinning one direction, you can get undizzy by spinning in the other, right? Editor's note, that is
No.
not exactly how it works. Actually, it's the quite opposite. You get worse. So much worse.
Oh no.
Whoops.
Are we on the ground now?
I think so.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Do you mind if I just lie down here for a bit?
Go ahead.
That seems reasonable.
Okay. Let me know when the cliff stops spinning.
Mm-hmm. I'll make sure to tell you.
I'm just going to sit here for a while till you're ready to go.
Here's the rope back.
Thank you.
How did Adelina react to this?
I think she figured, take a chance.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
It certainly was a thing that we were doing.
And the view really is kind of extraordinary.
That's the only reason that Karacinda didn't have her eyes closed, because the view was absolutely fascinating, and if she was going to wind up like dying or something, she wanted to at least have a good view for a while. She figured she'd know soon enough if she had to go and try to get in her happy place or something.
Fair enough. All right, you're down on the ground. It is approaching sunset, and this is as good a place as any to set up camp for the night. You're under the canopy. The river is nearby. Despite appearances, you haven't traveled very far north-south. There has been some traveling because there's wind, but you're still within easy walking distance of the river. You can see the river from here. You could actually go over to the river and make camp there if you wanted to.
Might
But,
at least want to be close enough to go and get some more water.
Yes.
I can't believe we did all that.
I can't believe
I
I
like to
ruined
imagine that
Hmm?
I didn't want to interrupt you.
I can't believe I ruined a perfectly good descent.
All right. You set up near the river. There's probably different wildlife down here, but you haven't really seen any of it yet. You caught a glimpse of some birds as you passed through the trees. Possibly a startled squirrel.
I'd be startled too.
But there's plenty of dry wood on the ground because it's winter and frankly a lot of the rain is stopped by the canopies or the snow.
Mm.
So you can build a fire easily, you can get water. Karacinda, there are things around that you recognize that you can
Forage
gather
time.
and eat, and there's also stuff that growing around that you've never seen before.
She will get what she recognizes for foraging purposes, and she will get what she does not recognize for examining purposes.
And you've also got the journey bread, which is, that's journey bread.
Mm-hmm. We approve of it.
Not exactly a 4-course meal, but it never goes bad.
That is pretty
Amazing.
useful. Yeah.
First course, journey bread. Second course, journey bread a la mode, if the la mode is more journey bread. Third course, journey bread with the side of journey bread.
Why are you breaking it up into little pieces like that?
It's fancier.
Okay.
And I'm afraid I don't have a map because I can't get Foundry to load it.
Okay.
But also, I think that's where we're going to end it for tonight. So last words, last reactions, please.
Just gonna tidy up the place, gonna camp, gonna figure out if there's anything we need to do to keep the great big critters from stepping on us. We made camp where it wasn't all churned up because of those gigantic things stepping on us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
Yeah. In fact, it takes you a minute to figure out why they don't seem to approach the river. Like their footsteps stop a little ways from the river, and then
They don't
start
wanna get
again
their
on the
socks
far
wet.
side.
They got those long heads. They just stop and they bend down.
That's exactly it. They don't need to approach the river to drink.
Figures.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think Adelina's gonna see if there's enough, if anyone has a bucket that they're carrying by chance, or she'll go over to the if someone has a bucket, she'll go over to the water and get some, bring it back.
Old Rob
Okay.
has a hat.
No.
The hat holds as much water as the idea that a hat worn by Old Rob would be able to hold water.
Okay.
I'm going to work on my maps.
It's a good idea.
Very good idea.
Sounds good.
All right.
And as the light fades, you set up your fire, you set up camp, you work on your map. It beats difficulty 5, so you're just fine. Thank you, everybody, for playing. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Tonight, I've been joined by my wonderful players, Beth, Crash, Io, and Jen. And I understand that Io's mom writes books.
Bingo!
And you can books that you can find at elizabethmccoy.com, and you can ask your local library to please order the books that you find there, and they can do that because hey, they've got Overdrive. I should be in the Overdrive catalog. And speaking of books,
My website is bookofjen.net. I put a variety of things on it. Some of it's video games, some of it's other stuff. Whatever I'm into at the time. I'm also the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast, and I finally put one up again because I'm healthy enough to do it. So it's over at shatteredsoulstone.com, and I'll put another one up on Saturday, I think.
woo,
Yeah.
Everybody cheer for Jen being healthy.
Yay.
Yes. definitely.
And speaking of websites, Crash, that's you.
You could go too.
I know, but I'm letting you go.
Okay, fine. Thank you. You can find all of our podcasts at ironbsmith.com/cogwheel. You might be able to find them elsewhere, but I highly recommend ironbsmith.com/cogwheel because RSS is awesome. You can also follow us on the Fediverse, is.ironbsmith.com/@cogwheel. And you can follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming, where you can help us keep the lights on along with other illustrious patrons, including Ellie, Shanshan, Walter, Liv Drummond, and patron emeritus Cindy.
And until next time, this is Ellie saying, oh, those adventurers are so nice. You know, I'm so glad they called us. See, they called. Good night, everybody.
Good night.